Recording in progress.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Houdini Battle semifinals, our first ever. Yay. My name is Deborah Isaac. I am the founder of Houdini.School, and I teach Houdini at Drexel University. I also co-organize the LA Hug with Justin and Ben Mears. I'm going to introduce the commentators. So Justin, go for it.
Hi, I'm Justin Dykhouse, and I'm a Houdini generalist and visual effects artist at Magnopus in downtown LA. And I also am proud to be a co-organizer of the LA Hug with you, Deb.
Great. And Paul, our guest commentator today, thanks for joining us.
Hi, I'm Paul Broysen, tech artist and labs lead at SideFX. I focus on the real-time side of things, and I'm happy to be commentating today. Good luck to everyone.
Yay. And Paul, can you show your video?
Oh, yeah, I can. Yeah, I just disabled it.
Awesome.
Hello, I'm here.
Awesome. Great. Paweł.
Hi, so I'm Paweł. I'm FX pipeline to the digital domain. I usually do tools and coding and stuff like that. I use Houdini for about 10 years or so. I don't know. I like to do weird things Houdini and push it to the corners, etc. And yeah, and by the well, yeah, and I'm also from Poland. No, yeah. Anyways.
Thank you, Alvaro.
Hi, hey guys. My name is Alvaro. I am from Brazil, and I'm a freelancer for about 8 years now, and yeah, that's it.
What's the time in Brazil?
Yeah, what's your time there?
It's 2 p.m. now.
2 p.m.
Yeah, I just had lunch.
Nice. And Paweł, it's 1 p.m. Yeah.
Nice.
Eetu.
Hey, Eetu. Hailing from Helsinki, Finland. It's 8 p.m. around here. And at the moment, I'm the lead technical artist at Mainframe Industries. And I've been doing both VFX and real-time stuff for, I don't know, over 20 years.
Wow, that's great. Stefan.
Hey, I'm Stefan. I'm from Germany, close to Berlin. It's 7 p.m. here. I'm a motion graphics freelancer for like around 11 years now. And yeah, that's it.
Great. Thanks, everyone, for being here. It's so exciting. And let's see. Now I'm going to share the screen, and I need some random seeds from the audience. Okay, we got one, 4615. Oh, first I'm going to tell you what it is. Okay, so the themes, we've got surreal, sci-fi, shattered, pop art, and 80s. The objects, portal, leaf, butterfly, cake, and a maze. Okay, so themes are going to be, the seed is 4615. The objects, the next one is 666. Whoa. Okay, here we go. Pop art, yay. I was happy with that one. Pop art leaf. Oh my gosh. Okay, good luck, everybody.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, timer.
Timer, get your timers.
Everyone set your timers.
And okay, I gotta set mine real quick. 45 minutes.
Okay.
Now, at this point, I want all of the players to share your screens. So let's see.
Is it working?
I only see Eetu and Paweł right now. Paweł.
Yeah, where's the button for that again?
It's at the bottom, the share screen, the green button at the very bottom.
It says
yeah,
my
okay,
screen is
sorry.
being shared.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Okay, I have Alvaro, so Stefan, you're the last one.
I think
There we
that should be
go.
working now.
Okay, so everyone's sharing, perfect. And on your mark, set, and go.
And they're off.
And they're off.
They're off.
Awesome.
The first Houdini battle semi-final battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excitement.
Really curious to see if the participants are gonna behave a little different than the first time they participated. Now they've done it once.
Yeah, it's true. Unlike most of our battles, everyone here has battled before, so we've got a little bit of experience. So we're going to start. Excuse me. We're going to start off with looks like the traditional reference gathering phase. So always an important part of any creative endeavor is sort of gathering your your thoughts and your references and deciding what it is that you're going to execute.
Yeah. What always interests me is seeing what it is the participants sort of type in on Google when they have the whole thing. They have the theme and the object. Are they just looking for the theme, or are they just looking for the object, or both at the same time? Because that is going to give very similar search results, or very different ones.
Yeah, that was one of my tips for before they started, separate and together.
It looks like Paweł has decided to jump right in. We've got our first node.
Nice.
So let's take a look at his screen real quick. So at the upper, so for anybody who wants to follow Paul and I as we sort of look at the different participants, on the upper part of your screen under view options, you should have a drop down and you can select which screen to look at. Right now, we're going to look at Paweł's screen.
I'm really curious if any of the participants are aware that there is actually a leaf generator in labs.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Thank
no.
you.
What?
Well, I think they're aware
Okay,
now.
It took a while to say that, Paul.
Crazy.
I know. I didn't want to. Wanted to see.
You
who
wanted to
knows? They
see,
didn't.
yeah.
For those of us who in the audience who may not be aware, Paul, my fellow commentator and esteemed colleague, is the author of many of the labs tools. So many of the tools that Houdini artists use on a daily basis.
How
Come from the mind of
many
this man.
tools, Paul? How many tools?
I think toolset has around 230 or more tools.
Wow.
So the three tools that some are using are made by an intern we had called Ryan Gold, and he produced some really great work during his internship.
Very cool. So there's a lot of like higher level stuff in there and sort of easy to use tools. And then there's some lower level tools too, solving some, bridging some gaps that may have been in the tool set before that. So it's always good to see their use of the participants' use of labs nodes. Do you have a favorite, Paul? Or is it like choosing one of your kids?
It is sort of, yeah. No, I don't really have a favorite. We the labs team, we work on all of the tools. We don't really have a this is my tool, this is your tool. We just work on it based on user demand, because that's really important.
Interesting. All right, so we've got on Paweł's screen still, it looks like he's got a line. He's changed around a little bit, and then he's doing a carve, which kind of like removes part of the curve from the end to the beginning or the beginning to the end. So he's sort of fine tuning the shape he's looking for, and then resampling it to get an even distribution of points along there.
Yeah, you might also be using the curve view attribute that it generates to get points along the curve that then later on he could potentially use in a ramp to, for example, use that to control the width. But we're going to see what he does.
Yeah, very useful attribute, curve view. So we've got our first wrangle too, I believe. Let's see what we've got on Alvaro's screen. Let's see what he's up to. Okay.
He's doing it.
Alvaro's got some leaves already, and he's
Yeah.
even distributing them around. So he's got a copy and transform there. So it makes as many copies as he wants, and it moves them all by a certain amount. And he's saying, I want that moved around 360 degrees divided by, this number that I give you, so that he'll always have 360 degrees worth of leaves. Very clever use of a little expression there.
It's already looking great.
Setting up a camera as well, ready to render at the end, or perhaps sooner. We'll see.
Yeah, setting up a camera early on in the process can be a really beneficial thing. the camera early on kind of tells you what is going to be and what is not going to be in frame. And that can tell you what you do need to work on and what you can let slide a little bit.
That's a good point. Yeah, save a lot of time as much as you can.
It's got a very appealing shape, sort of a classic leaf shape there, and even color. Is that the leaf node?
Fossil.
Yeah, he's using a leaf node.
So this leaf node was so handy. I was like, man, how I'm going to model a leaf right now? I'm not good at all in modeling.
Yeah, keep Paul like shouting out some labs tools for them.
If you connect the leaf node to the pop art node, then you will be pretty far along in this challenge, I think. So.
Yeah, about that node. No, just kidding. We don't have that yet. But perhaps with some machine learning style transfer.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Eetu. Let's see what Eetu has got for us. Okay, looks like Eetu is putting together a leaf profile as well, and he's using some reference.
Yeah. If you want to trace something, Houdini also has this really useful node on the object level called the reference node. And what a lot of people don't know is you don't actually need to point it to a file that lives on your disk. You can also actually feed it a URL. So that way it just downloads it right from the web and shows it in the viewport.
What?
Very nice.
Reference
That's super
node
handy.
on the object level?
Yeah, it's called reference image, reference plane.
Is that in 3D space so you can look at it, or is that locked to the camera?
No, it just actually creates a 3D grid with a texture applied to it.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it.
Okay, I'm gonna use that.
What about the trace node? That is one of my absolute favorite nodes.
Yeah, that's a really
I
good
love
node.
the trace node as well.
Yeah.
Trace
Also a
out
very old
handy.
node.
It's an old node. That's right.
Works well though.
Some of those old nodes are good.
Yeah. The nice thing about Houdini is that you have all these different contexts that all work together. So sometimes with your trace node, it's looking for certain pixel values, right? Black versus white, and that allows it to trace it nicely.
Yeah.
Sometimes images don't have that correct contrast. So what you could do is you could import that into COPs,
Yeah.
do some changes to it, and just load that COP file and the trace up.
Very true. You can also generate patterns in COPs and then have Houdini try to trace them and then try to like generate the wildest pattern you can and have the SOP node still be able to do it. If you're looking for some intentionally glitchy stuff.
There you go. Eetu has imported the.
I know.
There you go.
Dude.
Thanks for the hint.
Paul, you're like directing this battle.
We're learning.
We're learning at the same time.
Learning.
It's impressive.
A lot of times when if I'm working with reference, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll drop it as an image on my network view. And then I just always have it sort of like easily at hand.
That's cool. Yeah. So to help you with that, we actually have a new labs tool for that as well that some people might know. So in the toolbar above your network editor, we have this new tab called Labs. And we've added a couple new features, one called Sticker Placer, which we added a while back. We also added a thing called Screenshot, although that one might not be released yet. But it allows you to make a screenshot anywhere on any monitor, and it will place it right into your network editor.
Oh, very clever. I like that.
The sticker one, though, that's the one with the cat meme, right?
No, the sticker one is just for adding like some what do you call it? Notes and whatever. The cat one was just a meme. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Was a way to introduce it. Let's look at Stefan's screen. Let's see what he's got going on.
Ooh. I love how
Stefan,
designed these are.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a few different approaches to the same brief, which is always a fun thing about these battles. So Stefan looks like he's kind of defined a leaf shape, and then he's using some other shapes to kind of eat away at it with like a Boolean kind of fashion to sort of really design the negative space of the leaf. If I'm reading this right, which is entirely possible. I'm getting this wrong, but
that's pretty cool, yeah. Although he might, he's just using that to do a Boolean, which is nice.
There you go. So he's using a solid or some some 3D geometry to cut out some 2D geometry, basically just like some flat stuff. And then he's doing a remesh there to get a nice, smooth topology, which sometimes after a Boolean, you have some ugly looking shapes. It's true.
And a very procedural setup. Like you can just change the curve now and, get a completely different result if you wanted to. Or just tweak it, right? For later on to do a little bit of polish.
For sure. Or depending on how it's built, feed it a random seed and generate a completely new leaf.
Yep.
Is using one of the relatively new bend deformers. The bend deformer was refreshed a couple of versions ago and is now even friendlier to use.
Yeah, it's nice. I love using interactive tools that also allow you to work procedurally.
Yeah, viewport handles make all the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially with the introduction of Python states in, I think it was 17.5. It allows users to just script their own interactions that they'd like to have in a viewport, which is extremely powerful.
Wow.
Powerful and daunting.
That it is, yeah. Does require you to know a little bit of Python, but
a little bit of Python can take you a long way. So I'm reacting. I'm reacting positively to this leaf shape, I think.
Yeah,
I think Stefan's got a really nice shape going here.
There we go. Some more bending.
He's adding some really thoughtful controls to it. This is, of course, a leaf would actually have that sort of bilateral symmetry and then a little bit of bend like that.
That's pretty.
It's very clever.
And clever the way he does it as well in the wrangle by using the X value of the position points. Just using the absolute of it gives you basically a mirrored effect on both sides. You don't really need to worry about it being a negative side of the X or the positive side. So that's a pretty smart move.
It's one of the advantages to building your individual pieces at or near the origin and then placing them where you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good control and a clean node graph too.
I think that'd make a nice animation right there. The noise.
And then once he,
yeah,
there you go. And then once all that stuff is added, you can do a remesh and a poly reduce and get it very low poly and responsive. All right.
Yeah, that's great.
Nice and gooey. Really curious to see if anyone today is daring enough to not do another simulation.
Oh, don't say that. Don't tempt them.
Tempting fate.
That is not a challenge,
32 minutes left. 32 minutes left.
I mean, with all the geo that Stefan's got in there, I mean, I could see a Vellum sim in there. I don't know. It's pretty.
You won't see me Vellum sim.
Should we take a look at Alvaro's screen? He's doing some very colorful stuff. I was already about to ask, what. I'm really curious to see what people are going to do with color, because that's very important.
Exactly.
And it looks like we have some ramps here to control the color.
Very interesting stuff. And pop art is really known to sort of place front and center the technique used to create it. It's not hiding the technique; it's celebrating it. And so we see a lot of half-tone printing and silk screening and that kind of stuff. And so it looks like that's what we've got here for these big dots.
I love
Beautiful
this
color.
And he's also using the unlit viewport right now, which is a smart move with pop art, because pop art is very flat, very colorful instead of the 3D lighting.
Not reliant on shading as much as color.
So let's see what's going to happen now. He's creating
I don't
another grid.
Yeah. Like mops would be super useful here now, but I don't have it.
I love how you're making an attribute called A.
What is the first name that came into my head? I was like, okay, A, it will work.
A is an attribute A.
Yeah. I think admirable speed on the box here too. We're seeing a lot of really quick moves.
Right.
I'm jealous. I tend to work much more ponderously.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of having a very powerful machine, right? It allows you to experiment a lot more and therefore be more creative. That's why generally I like doing real-time stuff, because you just get immediate feedback, right?
Need it now. 29 minutes.
I'm seeing a redshift shelf here, but I don't know if that's going to lead to any redshift rendering. We'll see.
Ooh, look at that. I like
that's
that
nice.
a lot. Sweet.
Nice background. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. We get that halftone pattern coming out.
Right, that's
Very
great.
cool.
I like that.
Yeah, we're seeing this is definitely some strong work in the graphic, on the graphic side here. Let's go to Pavel. Let's see. Actually, have we seen Eetu? Let's see what Eetu's up to.
All right.
We have, okay.
Oh, find shortest path.
Wow, all of these are so good.
Yeah. Boy, these competitors have brought their A game today. This is
no
good.
wonder this is the semifinals, right?
Yeah.
It's almost as if they've practiced, right?
That is
so
sweet.
Yeah. So Paul, you mentioned this was likely the find shortest path here. Basically, given two arbitrary points in some geometry, sort of finds the quickest way between them, using quickest meaning the fewest edges. And it can be really interesting for finding very natural looking sort of vein-like patterns, or at lower geometry densities can find some very angular, sort of very techy looking shapes.
Yeah, it's a super sweet node. And the nice thing about it as well is that by default, it just uses edge length, right, to calculate everything, but you can also feed it a custom cost attribute. So if you sort of want to guide where it is going and calculating, you can also use that in a way.
Yeah, it's a handy node, and it kind of makes sense too, if that makes sense. It's sort of easy to visualize.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a repeating leaf as well. So here again, we see the copy, and I was using copy stamp. Okay, so we're gonna have some variation to the different leaves. And this is a way of working where you kind of give the node some instruction as to some variations you'd like to see in the upstream geometry when it gets copied to the new location. So it's a way of getting sort of variance when you copy instead of just the same thing copied 3 times.
Yeah, I didn't even know we still had the copy stamp.
I'm glad. I hope that never goes
this is
away,
quite
to be
old school.
honest. I like it a lot.
That's the very first way I
Copy
learned.
stamps should die.
No!
They're bad.
Yeah.
No.
Get rid of that.
There's some strong opinions on that.
For nostalgia's sake, you got to keep it.
Those who might not be aware, the copy stamp is still in there, and it probably will be for a while, but it is deprecated in favor of using a for each loop, and then changing the variance inside that loop, which is also a valid way of working.
26
I mean, you can
minutes.
also use attributes for that, which I usually prefer because it's a lot faster. When you have a lot of points, when you like scatter hundreds of thousands of things, it's best to use attributes because they are very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Yeah, a deciding factor could be the number of copies you need to end up with.
It looks like he's trying to vary the color in all of them using the copy stamp.
Mm-hmm.
He's also varying the internal look of it too. If you look at the
bottom
bottom
he's getting
one.
different. Maybe it's different starting points for the find shortest path. Starting or end, yeah. So he's getting different vein patterns and different color.
It's nice.
All right, let's move to Pavel. Let's see what he's got for us. So in the drop-down menu, we'll go to Pavel, and we'll see another cascade of leaves here. Oh, and we do have some vellum. All right.
There we go.
Our first sim.
Show off.
Remember to save.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saving. I'm not doing the same thing. Although the thing that I use, it's not really the volume theme exactly. It just
Oh,
that's
Bell and
fun.
Rush.
I like
Nice.
it. I like it.
Very art
Interesting.
directable.
So instead of using a full simulation and getting different results per frame based on the previous frame, he's just setting it up and getting the attributes and the behavior that he wants in order to sort of manually shape the stuff. That's cool. I never thought about that. You could do it without even doing a solver.
Very nice.
Yeah. Quick way to add some sort of hand-painted detail, so to speak.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what's missing in Houdini is really some nice tool to paint, right? Paint some good colors. We have the paint SOP.
Yep.
But it's really missing a lot of sort of features really designed for a pen, right? I think Alvaro is using a pen, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I do.
It would be interesting to see some more of this. And the paint shop has seen a little bit of attention, a little bit of love recently. I think there was an update to it, but not a full refresh of it. That's great. Really appealing, very, excuse me, really appealing, very simple leaf shape. But again, getting some really nice individual variations too.
Yeah, seems he's copying some circles on there to sort of also create that Pantone effect that we saw earlier on with some other contestants.
Yes.
Really curious to see what it'll look like with color. Cool.
Halftone was a, oh, go ahead.
Should we take a look at Stefan and see what he's up to?
Sure. Ah, there's a little color already. Okay, so moving over to Stefan. When we last left him, he had a
yeah.
going, oh,
very nice. Very nice. Almost ready for print.
Yes.
He's got sort of the Warhol, like multiple copies with variation in color. And then nice color combinations too. So he must be drawing from a limited palette and then having the colors kind of intersect with each other. Very smart way of working. Put yourself together a good palette and then sort of use that as a basis.
Yeah, looks like he's using attribute randomize to pick those colors. So
yeah.
Yeah, attribute randomize is, I don't know what exactly is happening, but it is doing something to get like nice saturated colors. It's not just three random components, right?
Yeah,
I'm kind of guessing here, but that's the thing that I'm seeing generally when using the SOP over like just a noise or something like that.
Yeah, attribute randomize, all the attribute like adjust and randomize SOPs, very useful nodes and make it a little easier to control some of the randomness and noisiness that one adds to. It's like a sort of a slightly more user-friendly way of doing stuff that we used to have to do in wrangles or bobs.
Yeah, I used to find myself to just drop down a wrangle and modify an attribute a little bit, but now it's become a lot easier with the attribute adjust nodes.
Exactly. It's like, oh, I need to tweak this just with a little slider. That's it. And
exactly.
Instead of writing a whole new wrangle for that.
And also it helps find where you did something in your network, right? Because oftentimes you might see a network, it's just wrangle. Where did I do this thing, you know? But with nodes, it's a lot more explicit as to what it is you did anywhere in your network.
I've heard tell of that, but I've never received a hip from somebody that was just wrangles. I think is it. So at least comment it. At least put a comment on it. Help a brother out.
Useful shortcut for that is Shift O. I learned recently. Makes a nice network box around your nodes.
Very handy. So you select everything you want, and then Shift O. You get a box around it. And you can add a little title to it.
Yep.
Pro tip. Comment your stuff, people.
Not right now, though. 20 minutes.
Actually, bonus points for those contestants that are commenting their code as they go. Okay, so we've got some layering as well. Okay, there you go.
There we go. I'm seeing a lot of similarities between all the different contestants. It's really nice. Nice to see. I think it would be curious to compare the reference that that all the contestants looked at before they started, and then the end result. You know, how much of it transferred over to the end result. looks like here with Stefan, there's a lot of similarities between the reference and the end result, which is good.
No, and he's playing, so he's got something going. It's not necessarily a sim, but it's some motion there, and maybe he's like looking for a good looking frame to display all this stuff in, or perhaps it's going to be a short animation. I'm not sure.
Underwear screen? Is your underwear? It's your underwear.
What's going on?
Uh-oh, somebody's not on mute.
Do not if it's dirty. Go have a shower. Go have a shower. Full shower.
If we can get the audience to mute themselves, please.
Shampoo.
Oh, wait. I can mute them. Everyone's on mute except you guys.
Those are some handy tips. Let's take a look back.
Oh,
Alvaro.
yeah.
So moving back to Alvaro's screen here, we've got some animation.
I see him moving some keyframes around. I see.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Deb,
just
can you mute?
Mm-hmm.
Can you mute the audience? Make sure that
They are. Everyone's muted.
there we go.
There we go.
Okay,
It's almost
thank
like a plant unfolding itself.
Yeah, I'm testing it. I'm not sure.
Whoa.
how
Look
it
at
works.
that.
Looks very nice.
Nice.
Very nice, and it's sort of like an outline around the leaf
Yeah.
as well, sort of lending to that graphical look.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm curious to find out how he did that outline. It looks pretty good. Curious
Yeah,
if
That's
it
just
looks
like-
really cool.
I did this divide stop without the remove shared edges and then converted to line and did the sweep stop.
Nice.
Kind of hard to see here, but
Very cool.
first thing that came into my mind.
Huh. I have not
That's
seen
very
a divide stop used like that. That's cool.
But I
it
should
very
have
much.
points going on here. Okay, so here's the issue.
17 minutes.
So those are spheres on there. They aren't just discs on the leaf there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was like, how can I align the discs? But I don't need it because
That's right.
it's
So
very
instead of
fun.
having to align a disc to the view, you just have a sphere,
Yeah.
and then it always presents itself as a disc.
Always 2D and on flat. Yeah, that's smart.
Absolutely. Yeah, with no shading on it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Got a very
use of-
green look, very, very nature-like.
Yeah, very good use of ramps there too. Is that the leaf? Is it the leaf node again? Looks
It
like
is.
Okay. Leaf profile, folding profile, and bed.
It was so cool. First time I'm using it, and it's so useful.
Oh, that looks better. Yeah, I like that.
Ah, that's nice.
It's good spacing on the dots and color too. On the
Very
leaves.
pleasing. Yeah, almost looks like a sunflower in a way.
Mm.
It's like a succulent sunflower.
But
That's
it
the
also
thing.
reminds me of the monster in what's that show called?
Stranger Things?
Things. There we go. That's the one.
It has that Demogorgon kind of mouth.
Yeah.
Paul, I think this is like, how user-friendly your tools are, that he can just like slap on a tool he's never used before and just use it right away, right?
That's the hope. Yeah. Sometimes
Right.
difficult, because you never know what it is people want to do with it, with the tool.
Yeah,
But that definitely is one of the key goals that we're trying to
I
do.
think you accomplished it here.
So let's move on to Eetu. Now let's see what he's got for us. Oh, some more leaves. This is like a more of a maple, not a maple leaf, more of an oak leaf.
Nice.
You make so many kinds of leaves with this system.
Yeah.
Same
think it
style
was-
again. With,
Yeah, it's very similar kind of thing where he's got sort of veins coming out from the center, or from the base, and then making slightly different variations in how they go, and then also in the color too.
I love these veins. They're so cool.
Mhm.
The nice thing is it looks like he was able to reuse most of his network for the other type of leaf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a different curve in the beginning.
Oh, so you just draw a different curve, and then the rest of it kind of goes in place.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of Houdini, once again, the procedural nature sort of coming out, that you create a set of instructions for the geometry to follow, and then you give it a different input and you get a different output.
I'm sure I could do it without duplicating all the nodes, but no time for smartness.
I'll give you a quick tip here. We have a node in Houdini in labs called
Of course you do.
align and distribute, which can take all your geometry and make a nice grid layout.
What? You're just saying this now?
Yeah, I don't know if it was Winston Churchill or somebody said, you know, I would have written you a shorter letter, but there wasn't time. I think it's like that with Houdini sometimes.
Right.
When we're under time pressure, we make these big sort of,
Yeah.
there's no time to be neat. You make these big sort of nodes and you repeat stuff.
You learn a lot from it, right? From doing everything.
It's true.
Brute forcing everything.
Yeah, elegance takes more time.
That's true. And it's a lot easier when you're not under time pressure.
14 minutes.
So my hats are always off to the competitors. They're doing an amazing job, and with an audience and with a ticking clock.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, 45 minutes might sound long, but it really isn't. It's
the
over
fastest
like that.
45 minutes.
Oh, in the chat, Vanolis is correcting me. That is generally attributed to Blaise Pascal. I knew it wasn't Churchill. But that's why
it sounded good though, Justin. You're good.
Well, you know, I had to put that in there that I think it's Churchill. But I'm not sure. So thank you for that, Vanolis.
Cool. There we go. Another leaf. Let's see what kind of style he's going for this time.
That's another classic Houdini move. It takes you half an hour to make one, and then it takes you another 5 minutes to make another 500. Let's see Powell. Let's see what he's got for us here.
Oh, we got some color.
Powell's got some colors. All right. It's okay, buddy. It's all right.
Not sure what's going on in the background. Everyone's muted except for the play. Oh, wait. I got one.
Why?
Sorry, I've got a guinea pig here who's having an emotional
Oh, it's your guinea pig.
breakdown. Yeah.
Aww. Hope he's okay.
I hope so too. He's got some food.
He just wants to watch the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He doesn't want to be messed with right now. So we've got Pavel's making a stem for the leaves as well. So he's making sort of a whole branch here.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to color the sides of the branch differently. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I just messed up with attribute class. No.
What we saw there a moment ago was the infamous attribute spreadsheet, which is where you kind of get a look at all the numbers underlying the geometry. A very handy tool. So anybody who's new to Houdini, if you just saw a big chunk of numbers, kind of looks like a spreadsheet, looks like an Excel spreadsheet or something like that. That's where the magic happens, as they say. It's where you can finally get a look at what you're doing to your geometry. Mm-hmm. And Pavel's using it to troubleshoot what was going on, and that helped him realize that the attribute that he was working with was on the wrong type of entity. It was on, for example, a vertex rather than a point. So it can be really good for troubleshooting and seeing what you've got versus what you expect to have.
Yeah, it's a very, very powerful tool, but sometimes a little bit intimidating when you're dealing with tons of attributes. You know, what is it you're looking at to see of numbers?
Mm. Yeah, it can be hard
can't
for people
really do
coming
it without it.
Yeah, people coming from less intensive 3D packages, or less intensive. Maybe not the right word, but where they don't present you with the numbers right up front.
About
this
10
is
minutes
really good.
left.
These are good looking leaves here. I really like it. And again, these are sort of groomed using the vellum brush. So sort of cool to see that hand painted look.
I like the stem a lot.
And it looks like he's also using the divide trick, where you remove all the shared edges to give you just the outline.
That's I'm going to use that immediately.
Yeah.
I can't believe I never did that before.
So many things we learn in these battles.
Mm-hmm.
We also
I have
still
some-
see a lot of polywire happening all over.
Mhm.
Instead of the sweep, right?
Yeah.
Instead of the what?
Polywire is one of those nodes I'm hoping will disappear.
Oh, I
often-
have one. Shit. Okay. I can switch
What-
it. I can switch it. Give
what
me a
can
second.
you-
No, you don't need
okay.
to switch it.
Can you, what you can replace polywire with?
With a sweep,
Sweep.
if you set the profile to circle, then you get the exact same. And generally,
Oh,
in my
yeah.
experience, I think you get better results around like sharp corners.
Okay.
There's
yeah,
so many more
that's-
options too.
That sounds fair. I guess I'm just getting old and following some things that I should not.
Other get with the program. I've been using polywire for like 3 seconds. A sweep, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stefan's an old pro at it. He's been using it for a whole minute.
That's impressive.
And so here we're seeing some more, let's see, another sort of attribute VOP here. So this is a custom node and attribute VOP where you can deal with the attributes one at a time, sort of put together a little node-based workflow for controlling them and bumping them against each other. And
Yeah,
it's very, very handy in-depth node.
I find it really useful to do noise with, or at least modify some noise, right? Instead of just using one type of noise. It's very easy to blend different types of noises in a visual way rather than either having to drop down a couple of attribute randomize or attribute noise. This allows you to really finely control how things get blended together or multiplied together without having to write any line of vex, right? Because that's what the VOP does under the hood for you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Can be very useful also for if you're sort of, you know that there's something interesting here, but you haven't found it yet. If you want to do some playing around before committing to writing code, doing so in a VOP and putting down nodes is much quicker and easier to kind of jam out and figure out a good direction to go in.
Absolutely, yeah. And a nice trick is if you want to know how you can do the equivalent in Vex, you can right click on the VOP and you can say, I think it's view Vex code, and then you can just see the Vex code that the VOP generated for you. So it allows you to sort of learn from that and write little snippets that later on you can use in a wrangle if you wish to do so.
Absolutely. So we've got, how long have we got left here, Deb? What's our clock looking
7
like?
minutes and 30 seconds.
All right. So coming down to the wire, should we look at Stefan again?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see some of that sweep action. Oh,
Okay, Stefan
nice.
has got like a full,
That's
got like a full
great.
frame there, and we've got a drop shadow on the leaf. Is that drop shadow done in SOPs as well? I think it might be.
Yep.
Look at that. That's great. So he's got a copy of the leaf with a, looks like a scatter on it, but not just a straight scatter, because that would recompute every frame.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like maybe a point deform.
I attribute interpolate because the scatter can keep hit prim and hit prim UV attributes. So you can just straight up attribute and interpolate back onto the animated geo.
Very nice. All right.
So scatter on a still, attribute interpolate onto the
Scatter on one frame, and then it will follow the motion.
Yes.
Very
that's-
smart.
That's nice. I like that.
It's a very cheap way of, or smart way of sticking stuff to geometry rather than using a array SOP or XYZ dist in Vex, which often gets used as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. And you can even probably use it to get some of the color, right, that you get from the scatter and from the geometry itself, and do some cool blending with it.
Yeah, putting scattering stuff onto deforming geometry and having it stick in place is a problem that we as Houdini artists have to solve a lot. So it's
All
cool
the
that there's a
time.
couple different ways of doing it.
Yeah, so I think attribute interpolate is the new delta mush in the battle.
I hadn't said it. I wanted to see if anybody would
No
do
one's
it
used it.
organically, but no one.
I don't
has.
think we have a delta mush yet in this battle.
No, we haven't had one in a little bit. That's such a Peter thing. Like 5.5 minutes left.
Okay, so there we saw a little bit of the ref that Stefan is using there.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Looks like
Okay.
it might be creating some veins, perhaps, or
Maybe adding some detail in that way, yeah. But he's creating a new node outside of his network because he's like gonna get that going first and then attach it later. So again, another piece of the power with Houdini is you can sort of have these workflows set up in parallel before you connect them.
If you on this type of geometry, if you're trying to extract a skeleton, it might also be interesting to take a look at the lab's 2D skeleton, which extracts the medial spline from geometry in 2D or 3D.
Yeah,
I could perhaps produce some cool veins.
I think that was Paul Estevez's most recent video was on the 2D
That's
skeleton
right.
node.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so interesting.
Yeah. Let's do another quick round of everybody if we can. So let's go to Alvaro one more time. Oh, look at that. Very lovely. Very well developed graphic sensibility on this one. I think that's so neat when a Houdini artist has that.
Very refreshing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's even animated.
Yeah, look at that. A few different variations.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a music video, this one.
It's kind of popping back and forth between different versions of it too. That's cool. So that's coming along pretty good. And I think I dare say that he'll even be able to render something out of the viewport and, you know, just like render it to mplay and we'll have something to look at there. So no like in-depth rendering needed. That's great.
Yeah.
And let's see Eetu. Let's see what he's got. Oh, we've got some very detailed leaves here.
Oh,
yeah. So Eetu is spending some time and effort to get the shape of the leaves very
really
plausible,
liking
very
those
natural.
colors.
Yeah.
These colors are very pretty. Almost. I like the contrast between them.
Yeah. This is going to be a close one.
Really curious how aware all the participants are of each other's entries, right? Because they can sort of hear our commentating. They can sort of
I'm afraid
know
of
a little bit about
Eetu's
what's
one.
going on.
I personally, if I were ever in one of these, I know I wouldn't be listening to the commentator. So my hats are off to anyone.
I like it though. I like their participation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's move from Eetu and let's go on to Paweł here so we can make sure that we can visit everybody one more time.
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
So Paweł's using he's using a ramp here, but in like a linear mode so that there's, instead of being a smooth gradation between the colors, there's like the individual colors, pure color until the next one. So it's a good way to get sort of a palette going where you don't have all the intermediate steps. You have a clearly defined, you know, yellow, a red, a blue, whatever. And then he's using that to scatter. He's using that color attribute on a scattered bunch of disk primitives there. I think. Is that the background?
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Okay. And then they're all starting to come together a little bit.
Yeah, another really nice way of doing that trick with picking different colors. The ramp is one, but there's this one secret little option on attribute randomize. If you set the mode to custom discrete, you can actually add very specific values you want to give it, and also a weight, right? So instead of saying this one is 30% and this one is 50%, you just specify the relative weight between them. So you don't really have to worry about, you know, percentages and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, once again, proving the power of those attribute adjustments. This is cool.
This is cool, yeah.
Yeah, very colorful, very whimsical. And let's go to Stefan one more time.
Oh, wow. 50, we're less than a minute, so.
Oh, he's managed to add some internal capillaries. I'm not sure of the exact term.
No.
To the leaf there.
What happened, Paweł?
Okay, it's okay. It's all good.
37 seconds.
This is looking really nice.
I mean, all of these are extremely strong. This is great.
Very impressed by it, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool though. The internal structures that Stefan has added is really a nice touch.
A little bit of a highlight. Curious to see what the end result will look like.
10
if he's going
seconds.
for shaded or if he's going for unlit. Looks like he's going for shaded.
5,
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, and 1. We're done.
Mouse is down.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
Good job, everybody. Woohoo.
Very nice.
Yeah. So
That was intense.
right? Oh my gosh, what great entries here. And what we're going to do now is review 2 minutes each. So we'll do one at a time. So Pavel, how about everybody stop sharing your screen and we're going to go one at a time so you guys can also see. So Pavel, how about you stay and everyone else
Okay, that sounds
come
good.
to you in a sec. Okay. So do you want to talk about your work?
Yeah, sure. I didn't really look at much of references. I just typed as usual thing and I started to play around. So I basically just go from the line, did some edit to get nicer, little bit band thing. Then I just carve so the leaves are not here. Here is a bunch of randomization. So I have the leaves are looking in the other direction, and I like to use the attribute randomize to randomize the value a little bit like that. It gives you a nice little bit of organic look. Then I use the labs generator subdivided, so it's nicer, copy it over. So I have the shapes, and then I use Vellum cloth and Vellum brush to edit it quickly. I think it will be okay if I would just like move it around and look, show what I did here, just a little bit shaping. Then I wanted to get to the pop art, so I scattered the point, just the disk, attribute randomize. Again, I really like to have a little bit different orientation on it. Then I just use linear value for to choose colors. And then here I just wanted to have some outline, so it just divides up with remove shared edges, just end so it's open, resample it, polywire that Paul don't like very much. Then I have connectivity, and I again choose color by the connectivity here. Then here is here I have the shape for the call. How we call this thing that is inside of the branch? It's
Stem?
branch, I guess. Yes, stem. Yeah. So I was thinking about something that look more like 60s, and like in some kind, like I just make this shape, so it's just boy wire again, but with just color this other into direction, so it and have the, so it's different here on the camera. And then I started doing some moving thing, but it's not exactly doing, I should remove those things here, but I didn't have time to do that. But it's just little bit things moving in the background, so it's not so static.
I love it. Good job.
Yeah,
It's
very
beautiful.
nice.
Great work.
And so I'm stop sharing now.
So Alvaro.
Yeah, let me share mine.
Yeah, this is very interesting seeing the other.
Can you guys see it?
Oh,
Yes.
that's awesome.
Oh, neat.
That's
Okay, cool.
nice.
So it's quite simple, right? Like I used the lifesaver, this lifesaver here, it was fantastic, you know. And then I just subdivided as well. like Paweł did, and I used I scattered to create this printing pattern. I forgot the name of it. Then I merged everything together. I also did this. I got this divide thing just to get the outline of it with the sweep, not with the polywire. And then, you know, just merged everything together. And here I did something like kind of crazy. I wasn't liking this color thing. So I did a ramp from it with this offset. So it would like keep changing the color over time.
That's cool.
Mhm.
Then I just merged it all together, used this copy just to be fast, you know, to create this.
I love it.
Yeah, the
Quite
pattern's great
interesting.
on that copy.
Yeah. Yeah. And then here on the background, I just got this grid and used I didn't use a scatter here, I just used the grid points itself to create the pattern with the spheres. And I think it worked like fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, just put this node outside to merge it. And yeah, that's it.
How did you get
also-
the internal ones bigger than the edges? What did you do for that?
The internal ones, you mean
Like the background, like how in the background?
Okay. So
Yeah.
I did this. I created a point on the center of the scene. Let me hide everything here. A point in the center of the grid here in the center of the scene. And then I transferred an attribute. You know, like here the attribute is 0 and here the attribute is 1.
Right.
I'm sure you can do it like super easily with mops, but I don't have it here. Then I remapped it here. It to be, instead of a P scale.
Okay.
So I could use this here.
Got it.
Like I can just like create this.
I love it.
Change it with the blend with. And yeah, then just added like the color and the camera. And yeah, this is what I got.
Love it. Great work.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Very graphic look. Very cool.
Yeah. Eetu.
Very fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I went kind of on the
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fantastic.
it's
cool.
kind of the low hanging fruit, the like Warhol thing with different colored.
Hey, don't say
Colored
that. You
leaves.
didn't see mine yet.
And no, and I didn't use the leaf generator, but I did hear Paul's thing about the reference thing. So I just took some like reference images and pretty much just traced them by hand. From the previous competition, I remember that it's like keep it simple, stupid. Like if I try something smart, I will stumble somewhere and spend 15 minutes debugging. So this is quite straightforward. I make the curve, then remesh and make some start and end points and find shortest path. And just a randomized color with the for some reason I reached for the copy stamping. I'm not sure why, and the remesh size is a little bit different because of the stamp, and the color is a little bit different. So
got it.
So that's why the main patterns are different. So then I just pretty much did the same thing 3 times and traced a different leaf. So this is really quite explicit, but there's some proceduralism in the copying.
For the color, how did you art direct the colors?
Mm-hmm.
They seem fit very well with each other.
I don't know, with good luck. No, I just tweak the numbers for the random so that they and just made some of them a little bit more red by multiplying the blue by 0.1 and just very straightforward.
You're randomizing the color, but then in each channel you're tweaking the range that in which it can settle. Okay.
Yeah, and just the random, it has the stamp value as the seed for the random, and just some random there, so it's a different random.
So each copy will have a different random seed. The hand worked look of this one is very neat. I think it's cool. It's got like that detail to it. Super cool.
Yep. Awesome.
Hmm.
Love it. Love it. Stefan.
Thank you.
Here. Okay, can you see this?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay, so I went for the low-hanging
That's
fruit.
nice.
Yeah, I went for like the Warhol style, like multiple iterations of the same object thing, which lends itself very well to like a copy to points workflow and Houdini in general. So that was kind of, I guess, low-hanging fruit. I agree. I went for like this Monstera leaf, similar to, let me stop this, to what Eetu had. I basically drew a curve. Let me see, like a base curve and some curves to cut out of that leaf. And I was afraid. I know, Paul, that there is now a curve Boolean, but I wasn't ready for it yet.
What?
It's too fresh.
That's so
There's
cool.
a curve Boolean in labs now. Continuing the ongoing theme of of shilling labs. So, but I didn't use it. I used the normal Boolean, in which you can also, like, in this case, I just had like a extruded version of the cutout shape, and I in the Boolean I cut out a solid out of the surface, and then I got this base shape. I merged it in with like some hand-drawn lines using the sweep. Nice thing with the sweep is that you can use a lot of things that we used curve view before just straight up in the sub, like applying a scale along the curve. So I could have like these veins like getting smaller towards the end without any like curve view hassle. And then I merged these to get this thing, and some remesh to get some resolution, and then did some things to like bend it so it bends up like this. That's like a simple point wrangle, just using absolute X in this case to get an offset. Did some noise on it to like have it eventually move, and then bend it down, and that's that. So I get this leaf, and then I the rest of this is basically using a bunch of like copied points. So I get a grid with, let me turn off this templating here. I get a grid with 3 by 3 points. They have random color. They have a bit of a random orientation so that they kind of move. And if I copy my leaves to that, I get these like individually moving leaves onto these points. I add in a frame, I guess, using the same grid for a bunch of these, because it's because I need to have I need points with different colors, basically making a single grid of points, and then the same approach, randomized colors, copying it to the grid. And the other thing that's maybe a bit more interesting than copying a bunch of stuff is I took the leaves, I scattered some points onto them to get like a pointillization style shadow going. And then, and I've talked about this while we were going, instead of like scattering on every frame, I just scatter on the first frame, time shifted, and the scatter has these handy source prim and source prim UV attributes that basically store on which primitive and at which parametric UV position of that primitive did I scatter the point, or was I the point scattered? And you can use that to basically reintroduce the animation of the mesh onto the points. So I scatter once on first frame, and then the animation works on these points. And then I basically, for the whole setup, I just aligned those in space, so that in this orthographic view, I then have like a view like this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
it's very well developed. You've
Love
got
it.
all these different sort of pieces all sort of working together. Really took it very far.
I love it. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So how about everyone share your screens again, and now it's time to vote. So if you go to Discord, I've got it ready on the the poll, and people have already started to vote. So yeah, let's do it.
So on the Houdini Battle Discord and the poll channel. Yeah.
And some stiff competition. And you can vote for more than one.
Everyone
Yeah.
good votes for me.
Poll's always a bit of a nail biter. Last time we had almost a tie, a 4-way tie.
Yeah. I'm seeing something going on here, if you guys are seeing the same thing. There. We have some, okay. Looks like there's like a forced tie going on here.
Someone
Between-
is playing.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, you guys. Come on, you guys. Let's get a winner here. I know we've got some fans. Okay. Think we can call it? Okay.
Call it.
Okay. Alvaro, you won.
Yeah. Okay, I think
Congrats.
thank you.
Well done.
I really like Eetu's one much better than mine.
Well, it's that, you know, that's the fun of this.
Yeah,
Everyone
all
does such
the
good work.
participants did an amazing job. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it
would
was
have been
everything
proud
was
to have
super
created
cool.
any of these. This is great. This is super cool to see. And
Yeah.
thank you for letting us watch you work. It's got to be a little nerve-wracking to come in and have an audience and a ticking clock and all that stuff. So
I
we
know the
appreciate it.
audience loves
It
it.
is.
So I hope you guys had fun too. And Alvaro, you're going to be in our finals in December and the end of the year. And there'll just
Okay.
be 2 people, you and someone else.
Damn.
I know.
The Houdini duel.
Yeah, it'll be a duel.
We'll call it the compute duel.
That's a good name.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for coming. Thank
Thank
you,
you, guys.
audience. Thank you,
Thanks.
players. And we'll see
Thank
you
you.
next time.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
See ya.
Real honor to
Bye.
watch you guys work. Thank you.
Thanks.